Hey everybody, welcome back. Here's some Sal.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Tiffany.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Heroes in a Half Shell.
This is Back Issues.
I'm in my 30s. But yes, welcome to our Ninja Turtles episode of Back Issues. We did the original IDW run, or at least we did the first volume of the IDW run. And now we're going to do this What If Ninja Turtle story.
Is this like the last future, like
Yes.
the last Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle
like-
story?
Yes.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the end.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would call it The Dark Knight Returns meets Ninja Turtles.
Well, yeah, the word Ronin's, I mean, obviously Ronin because,
Yeah, masterless.
yeah. I
but-
mean, they're ninjas, though.
Whoa, spoilers.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
And,
that's true.
That's really samurai.
Samurai do appear in this book,
Okay.
but they're not samurai, they're
But, like,
ninjas.
Ronin also makes me think of Frank Miller because Frank Miller wrote Ronin.
And Frank Miller was the inspiration behind the Ninja Turtles in the first place because, of course, Eastman and Laird, the creators of the Ninja Turtles, were inspired by Daredevil comics and then created the Ninja Turtles through that concept. In fact, of course, eagle-eyed fans will cite every time that Matt Murdock is in the first Ninja Turtles comic from Mirage Comics at Eastman and Laird. The little blind boy, the toxic stuff that gets in his eyes is also the same mutagen that gets on the Ninja Turtles. Of course, that's only like headcanon because they didn't have the rights and licenses to use the Marvel character.
Also, like, Matt's eyes don't grow out of his head.
No, nor do they become like sentient eyeballs that like are fun-loving pizza-eating teenagers, but I digress. So IDW had the
I hate that idea.
Well, listen, that is in no way more far-fetched than half of the action figure line. I cite Muckman or Wingnut and Screwloose. After issue 100, the co-creative team, Eastman and Tom Waltz, decided to pass the baton to another creative team, but they weren't done. And they were like, man, I kind of want to do like an out-of-continuity, separate kind of Ninja Turtles thing. And Eastman's like, well, in '87, me and Peter Laird, the other co-creator of the Ninja Turtles, had concocted this concept for the last Ninja Turtle story.
87?
Yeah, like all the way back in the day. And in fact, in the director's cut of the first issue, you get to look at some of the original typed up notes for the original concept of The Last Ronin. They had, and so many of the ideas that came from this are in the 2020 to 2022 5-issue limited series we're going to talk about.
The year and a half.
Long 5-issue book that is now here. Yeah.
Is that a better or worse track record than Doomsday Clock?
Oh, I think it's pretty much the same. Which still beats Kevin Smith's Daredevil Bullseye Target book. Mm-hmm. The first issue of Last Ronin sold crazy good, and then there were significant delays between every single subsequent issue. But it was such a sales juggernaut for IDW that like this is one of, I think, at least 3 different versions of the first issue that came out in between issues 1 and 2.
Huh?
Why didn't they just wait?
You mean like before to release everything?
Because they're like, it's
Yes.
my money and I need it now.
Yeah,
That's right.
Like, it's not an ongoing.
No.
This isn't the book that's going to
Because that's comics, man. Like, you could say that to every single publisher. Hey, how come you released the first 6 issues of a book and then took 2 years to come
I
out with the
know,
last
but
6 issues? What the hell's wrong
like,
with you?
It's not like it's Batman and like the ship's gonna sink without that book coming out,
yeah,
right?
comic book stores will close if we don't put out a Batman book. Yeah.
This is
It's a Ninja
supplemental Ninja Turtle book.
Yes, that's right. You could wait. But at $9 an issue,
You could have waited till they had 3 issues done.
yeah, they could have. They easily could
And
have.
then there still would have been delays, but at least you would have had 3 issues out.
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
And
then I
maybe-
wouldn't have sold it for $30.
And maybe, I mean, like, first issues I know always sell more.
They do.
But you probably wouldn't have lost as much steam.
Yeah, that's true. And I feel that this book did suffer from that because the first issue sold great and people were really hyped on Last Ronin, and then just the hype train eventually ran out of steam. And then the 5th issue came out and everyone was like,
It's 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, 2 years. It'll be 2 years by the time we got the hardcover.
Nice.
But
We had the 2-year anniversary hardcover.
plus you can also get the commemorative action figure that depicts the Last Ronin turtle, which is kind of a fun idea, and it's one I'm definitely going to buy eventually when it comes out. The insult to injury should have been that the figure came out before the last issue.
Huh.
We didn't quite get that. But yeah.
Not far off.
In any case, so this is, okay, so the concept is from Eastman, Peter Laird, and Tom Waltz, because Eastman and Laird had originally concocted the idea of The Last Ronin to begin with. But it's really, the script is from Eastman and Tom Waltz, with art by Esau and Isaac Escorza. And Kevin Eastman also does a couple of pretty sweet pages as well,
Oh, okay.
as like flashbacks,
Oh, cool.
Oh.
which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
It gives that like gritty Turtles quality that
Yes.
people come to expect. One of the turtles survived. The other turtles are dead. Which one is it? Oh. And there was some speculation. And they don't tell you until the end of the first issue which turtle it is. Because, like, you know, unless you're looking at cartoon versions post the 87 cartoon, they all kind of look the same. So
Right.
once you take the masks off, I don't know. And in fact, in the old 87 cartoon, the animators didn't know the difference. And sometimes they'll just color the different masks and have
Right.
dialogue from different turtles come out of their mouths because, you know, we got to get this shit out.
I don't care.
I got like 600 episodes of the show to produce. Come on. I expected this to be kind of like a distillation of all the turtle stuff. And it kind of is. But it's mostly taking its P's and Q's from the previous IDW series and the ideas that were played upon there.
So Toka and Razar don't appear in this book.
You know, interestingly enough, no other mutants appear in this book.
Oh.
No Bebop and Rocksteady, no Toka and Razor,
No Leatherback.
no Leatherback, no space aliens.
What about Baxter Stockman?
Baxter Stockman is in this.
How about
But
Usagi Yojimbo?
He is not a Turtles character.
I associate
is he
him.
in it?
He is not in it.
I associate him with it anyway.
That's because...
And he's a samurai.
Well, yes, because A, a Ronin actually refers to samurai, so that would make more sense. And B, Usagi Yojimbo, of course, was released under the Playmates line with the action figures for Ninja Turtles, and I believe he appeared in one of the animated series. But
Plus, if you're talking about animals walking around, he's a bunny rabbit.
yeah, he's a bunny man. But they're not really connected. They want it to be gritty, and Ninja Turtles was inspired by gritty, adult-oriented comic book fiction. Like the Ninja Turtles were smack-talking murderers with edged weapons. So we got to pay homage to that, and we got to get back to our roots because obviously, if that's their origins, it's come a long way since then.
Yeah, it's been very different.
Yeah, we've seen shades of its origins, but it's never really gotten back to that. And even then, it doesn't really get back to that in this anyway. It does get gritty, but the Turtles have become something else. You know, they've taken on a life of their own. You know, I don't think you're ever gonna get like classic Mirage Turtles in comic form or in any form for that matter, really ever again. Arguably, we only really had that for a short period of time anyway, so like, is it really even the origin of the Turtles? Like, it is, but is that really like the true form of the Turtles? I would argue that like, because the Turtles have been around for 30 plus years, you know, every generation has their own claim to an iteration of the Turtles. You know?
Right.
Like some folk prefer the Mirage comics to the animated series. Some folk have allegiances to multiple different versions of the animated series. The 87 cartoon, the 2003 cartoon, the Nickelodeon CG animated cartoon, not to be confused with the 2007 animated movie cartoon. There are so many different iterations of the Turtles. Comic book iterations. There's a terrible run during Image Comics where they team up with Savage Dragon and stuff.
I just prefer the live stage show.
Oh, yes. Coming Out of Their Shells tour is a piece of American classic art that will never be dwarfed. Feel free to ask for context, but like, there's not much that is really needed. Just, there is a lone turtle. I'm gonna try and bury the lead about which turtle it is.
Well, they're wearing a black mask, so at least they're covering that
I
up.
have an idea.
Yeah, feel free to form your own conclusion about which turtle survived.
It's Franklin.
That is not affiliated with the Ninja Turtles. Hey, it's Franklin, not a Ninja Turtle. What adds to the mystery about which turtle it is, A, black mask, as you pointed out, B, he wields all the weapons of his fallen brothers. And he is talking to his fallen brothers in his head.
Okay.
Like his
Are they
brothers.
talking back?
Yes.
Is he praying to the Turtle Pope?
No, Elden Ring. But
You got to see that. You met him with me.
yeah, but they're not ghosts.
That was impressive.
They're not alive. They're talking in his head.
If he concentrates hard enough, does he see them in a fire?
No, he does not see them appear as a Splinter Obi-Wan ghost. No, they're just visions.
That scene
It's so good.
will probably still make me cry today.
Easily. No, the 1990 Ninja Turtles movie is a true work of art. So then we see that the future of Manhattan is quite different from what we remember it being. It's now like a police state that has a big wall around it. The river is more polluted than ever. There's like a kind of environmental message here where they talk about how global warming and pollution have more or less rendered the rivers and waters to be uninhabitable.
I thought this was a Turtles book, not a Captain Planet book.
Yeah, well, they don't solve the environmental crisis.
Oh.
It's just a commentary on like where we're heading.
Yeah. I see destroyed bridges. That's awesome.
That's right. Yeah, no, Manhattan has become an island unto itself, and it's been taken over by the descendant of Orokusaki the Shredder.
Ah, is that why there's a giant building in the center?
That's right, a big like pagoda in the center that is the epicenter of like all activity in
Did they
Manhattan.
wall off Manhattan the shape of a foot?
Manhattan, it is an oblong shape, so one could argue maybe they kept like little other islands. There is another island.
Oh.
Roosevelt Island is procured by another superpower in the Turtles verse.
Yes, if that's the foot, then Roosevelt Island is the bunion.
It certainly is in the context of the story. So the lone turtle, he makes his way through like the polluted waters, and the mutagen in his blood that has made him into a not quite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle has now made him stronger and has an accelerated healing factor. They reference that he's been changed or the mutagen has been evolving him, but it never really gets into it outside of him just being slightly more durable than he normally would be in any other context. Like, it's just that they keep talking about it, and then they never really pay it off. And I'm like, that checks out. It's a Ninja Turtle story. I'm not going to give it that much of a hard time.
So we're not gonna like cut off a hand and like
it grows
have it
back.
grow back in a week.
So the lone turtle makes his way into the city. He's been away for a while. It's been 16 years since the great cataclysm that annihilated the turtles and left only one alive. So he's older. I guess he's also in his 30s.
Yeah.
Which is old for a turtle or
Middle-aged
something. Except
mutant Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
Old man mutant Ninja Turtle?
Yeah, except it shouldn't be because turtles are actually like
Really long-lived.
really long-lived. Like they have,
They were teenagers to us, but not to Turtle the year.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. No. Okay.
Now he's finally the teenager. He's very angry.
Yeah, he's grizzled like a.
So,
Yeah.
so it's not Oogway either, right?
No.
I came up with another one.
Hey,
It's also not Venus de Milo.
it'll never be Venus de Milo. Although I hear they're planning on bringing her back in some form.
They're breaking her back.
But they've introduced another female turtle that would not have broken up Eastman Laird like Venus did, named Jenica. But we won't get into Jenica. She's not here.
Okay.
Keeps it clean. Thank you. So he makes his way in. You see there's flying cars. There's some crazy technology. He's trying to sneak in. The plan is the descendant of Shredder has taken over New York, killed his family, and rules New York City with an iron fist, or really
Iron
more
foot.
like thank you. So he's gonna go in there and kill him. The plan is suicide mission. I'm going in, get at him, kill him, die trying. Works for me. Whatever. I'm
Right.
done. I'm tired of living. And so
You said we don't get ghost turtles. There are some ghost turtles, my friend.
yeah, those are his visions. Like, but they're not actually ghosts. They're just tricks of his mind.
Ah.
They are personifications of his guilt, having let his brothers die. Even though it's really not his fault. April will bring that up later. So he's walking through the city. He sees that there's some motorcycles. He's got to get through the city. He had planned on being ninja-like about it, but he realizes he's going to have to like actually get through like crowds of people, and he's got to cover great distances in a short amount of time. So he steals.
And he saw Akira.
And he saw Akira, so he needs a dope-ass motorcycle.
Plus, he's older, so his feet hurt.
That's right. So he steals a motorcycle which belongs to this fun-looking, distinct character that they name Jones. Or at least her fellow biker gang refers to her as Jones.
Okay.
We'll talk about her later on, but it's destiny. So the lone turtle takes the motorcycle, makes his way through. He needs to create a diversion because it's a police state and it's being overrun by cyborg ninjas.
Okay, this design is awesome.
For that bike?
The way that wheel works mechanically,
Yeah.
that's so freaking cool.
I really appreciate the art. It's fun. It's detailed, but also is gritty. It pays homage to the origins of like the kind of classic Eastman Laird style, while also being modern. I think that it gets away from it at times, but I do appreciate the art pretty much throughout. It's consistent throughout.
Okay.
You know, it's very much going for a style that could be adapted in animation or into dope-ass posters or cool action figures. So it's doing the job that Ninja Turtles needs it to do, which is to create it into a multimedia empire. He needs to create a diversion to get the synthetic ninjas or Sinjas off his back. He's going to establish those later, but I couldn't resist jumping into those Sinjas later. So he blows up a gas main, which attracts their attention, then sneaks in through the sewers, or what was the sewers, because like the city has been like built. It's like the Futurama city of New York, where it's like there's down here, and then there's like the
new
other
city that they built on top of it.
So like the sewers are like the sub sewers, and then there's like the other sewers between the sewers, and you know it's just there's sewers upon sewers because it's Ninja Turtles. Gotta have more.
He should be so happy then.
He recognizes the system. You know, he's like, you can put wires and all kinds. You can clean this up, but like you can't take the sewer out of the turtle. And his brother's like, what the hell does that even mean? He's like,
Shut up, man!
So he takes out a couple of Sinjas, which are actually humans that have been retrofitted into cyborg ninjas. Like there's barely any humans left.
It's like RoboCop.
It is like RoboCop. And there are more than a couple of allusions to RoboCop in this. Like they're, just as Frank Miller's Daredevil inspired the Ninja Turtles original comic books, basically anything that Waltz and Eastman think are cool goes in here. We just show that this turtle plays for keeps. Like there is a human in there, but he kills it anyway. He just knocks its head off because like he's basically dead.
Right.
You know, and and that's another. I think it's an allusion to the Robo foot soldiers from the cartoon show.
Mm-hmm. Oh, in the video game.
Yeah, in the video game. Well, I'm selling this to kids. They need to use their sharp weapons. I can't have them just beating a poor man to death. That's reserved for the movie or the comic books. But now it's like, yeah, there's people in there, but like they're like zombies. They're robots, Morty. It's okay to kill them.
You said they were robots.
I bet I have no respect for them. So he kills them, and you know, and he makes his way into the tower. There's some fun monologuing in here. It's very evocative of Frank Miller.
Okay.
You know, stupid, clumsy, stay focused, that kind of thing.
Right.
And ultimately catch a couple of flying cars. Then we get a.
So there's motorcycles and flying cars.
There are because there's haves and have-nots. There's people in the lower parts of the city who need to be able to get down and around using conventional means. But then there's like those who have more, who can fly above it. You know, we don't really get to
live in the Fifth Element.
Yeah, we don't get to see like the 1%ers in the Fifth Element universe of this.
Also, like flying car, yes. Flying motorcycle, no. You'll fall off.
You'll fall off, or you'll smash it into something. It's too small. Although it should be more maneuverable. But yeah,
It should be more maneuverable. But like, I tip over a little bit too far. It's not like I'm wearing a seatbelt.
No, yeah, you're just on it.
Locked in.
Exactly.
What was it? Roxy Rocket? What was her name?
Yeah, that's exactly who it was.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's Bruce Timm.
Yeah.
You know, I got to see her legs. I got to see her butt. You know, I can't have her be encumbered with all this like straps and stuff. Ooh, straps though. Because Bruce Timm is nothing if not horny for the characters he draws. Master Hiroto is established. He's in his like tower high above the city.
They a big fan of the Crow?
Gotta be, right? Because he has long hair like Eric Draven, and he's really pale and goth, and he's surrounded by crows. We won't see these crows until the last issue of this series, and they're robots too.
Maybe someone's just trying to get in touch with them. They're sending ravens.
Yeah. Thor's trying to call him, but he's surrounded by crows. I love the visual of the crows. Hiroto gets more and more unhinged. Like as they're working on the book, because you could never convince me that they wrote it all in one sitting, and you couldn't convince me that they wrote it all in 1 year.
They didn't. They wrote it in '87.
Well, that's fair, but like you could tell in the notes they have ideas, and they go like, why? You know, like I think Casey Jones shows up, and he's like, oh man, we messed up. By who? Like a little note, like who's the big bad guy? I have no idea. We'll make it up as we go. And
We'll figure it out later. It's fine.
Dude, that is the creative process of kids who are just making shit that's rad. Hiroto is Shredder's grandson.
It's weird to think of Shredder as like a grandpa.
Yeah, well, he never lived to see him.
Hey, Grandpa Shredder.
Yeah, but he does homage Shredder in a big bad way.
He's just still trying to wear the costume. He's like,
okay, kiddo.
How did he not stab himself all the time?
Right? Or like you can't bounce him on your knee. I know you got those sharp knee pads, but Karai is in the book. She was a fun established character who's been in more stuff than Shredder actually at this point. Shredder's claim to fame in the comics is like he dies in their first appearance. Like they kill him immediately.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of like in the first movie.
Exactly. That's why nobody cried foul. They're like, yeah. The only difference is Casey Jones doesn't crush him to death in a garbage truck.
Listen,
Yeah.
that was an accident.
Oops.
He said oops.
He said oops. We have to take him at his word.
Yeah.
I love that Casey Jones just, let's kill him. I don't want him coming back.
Like, who's gonna stop me? I'm never gonna get to murder a person.
Come on, he fell right in there.
And if I don't do
on.
this, I'm gonna be kicking myself for not taking my opportunity. You gotta take those chances, people.
Let me tell you something. Casey
Not
Jones, one of the greatest heroes in the Ninja Turtles universe. I mean, like, dude saw the future and was like,
And yet still.
Super Shredder. Yeah. That's not his fault. Our turtle, our Ronin, makes his way through. He kicks the crap out of some more Singes. There's a couple that are like more cool. I mean, and it's just an excuse to draw some rad shit. Later, our Ronin will go back to the tower to fight Hiroto, and there'll be not one but two Temple Guardians, one after the other. And who are they? What's their origin? Who gives a shit? They look cool, and he fights them. That's all that's there for. Like this Sinja here, who has roller skates and arm gauntlet thingies that are also like laser cannon. Like, who cares? It's cool, and he kills it in like in a page. That's what this book is. Like, it is not heady or deep.
Doesn't matter how much cool shit there is, he's still better.
Yes, right. And it's to show you also that this Ronin has seen a lot, been there, and is a harder trained ninja than ever before.
Very experienced.
It's true. Yep. It's true. Hiroto discovers that his tower's been breached by this mutant. He didn't know it was a mutant originally. He thought it was just another freedom fighter or rabble rouser. But then eventually gets wind that it is a mutant. He's like, well, I killed them years ago. What a fool they are. I defeated them easily. What makes them think I could do it again? So, but it's also clearly afraid of them and dispatches like floating mousers to take him out.
Okay.
The mousers are also going to come into play. Mousers, hey, Baxter Stockman's original creation that were there to take down Splinter, but now are being co-opted into being like Minority Report, Secret Police, like drones.
Okay.
But they still kind of look like mousers. Our Ronin is up against, he's in the tower, he's ready to face Hiroto. He's distracted by these mousers. The bigger, like Domo-kun mouser goes after him. The two of them go tumbling through the main window and plummet to the
Streets below.
Oh.
So he doesn't get to Hiroto.
He does not get to Hiroto.
He's also like barraged by robots.
It's true. He's also really he's up to his neck in it, and he didn't plan.
Yeah, they kind of like barrel him out a window.
So he falls out the window, hits the ground, and just hits the pavement.
Oh!
So isn't he dead?
No. And this is the reference to the mutagen having changed him. Like, he expects to die, and you expect that he's gonna hit a car or
Land on his shell
or something. Nope, just face first into the pavement and coughs up quite a bit of blood, and he thinks he's going to die, and he didn't get to do his revenge. Damn it.
Right.
But he won't let them finish him off, so he's gonna, retreat to ground. Seemingly ratted out by Jones, the girl whose motorcycle he stole, but actually she directed them in a different direction, follows the blood trail down into the sewers, and later on discovers him. Meanwhile, we cut to Hiroto, who is doing his best impression of the Crow. He's just like, yeah, just wallowing in himself. He's like, we did it, man. Fuck that stupid turtle. Ha 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 ha. Aren't you so proud of me, my crows? My stupid fucking crows.
Like, oh.
Yeah, like, and I guess because they're robots, it's okay that, maybe they're like, yeah.
Yeah, they just talk back.
Right?
You're sure great, Hiroto.
We don't see that, though. But then we establish that Hiroto keeps his mother, Karai, under glass in an induced coma. And he's like, my dear mother, one day we'll find a cure for being stabbed to death. and then we'll rule this putrid city together.
Don't think that's how that works, but okay.
No, but she's in an incubation, kind of back to tank, and she's got a special healing harness on.
Dude, you need to go meet anyone.
Right. No, and in fact, our Ronin calls him a mama's boy later.
Just literally anybody.
Right, but his first lieutenant or whatever reports back to him, and he's like, has the mutant been dispatched? And he's like, no, he got away. And so then he cuts his head off and feeds him to the crows. But
they're machines.
Yeah,
but they're machines that eat.
I don't think they think that they're machines in this issue, but they're definitely machines in the 5th issue. So I think, again, they're like,
They became machines.
Let me tell you something. There's a couple of moments where you're like, You forgot. You forgot what you set up, or you didn't care about what you set up and you don't want to do that anymore.
Well, I knew in my head there were crows, and like 5 issues later I was like, oh man, robot crows is such a cool idea.
Well, and also like, why did I make them crows to begin with? Like, what am I doing? There's a scene where Hiroto is just doing some shit and you're like, why did he do that? What about his character suggested that? Anyway, so the Ronin seeks ground in the sewers. He's coughing up blood. He's expecting this to be his swan song. He's going to die. He takes out the remaining weapons of his fallen brothers. And we see like the Donnie's bow staff is broken. He's got a shattered single blade of Leonardo. He's got one nunchuck and one sai. And he takes them all out, places them out in front of him.
And makes a super weapon out of them.
Yeah. just it spins. It's just like he puts it in the middle and just...
And he immediately hurts himself.
Yeah, exactly. He takes out their masks and drapes them over it. He takes out his father's journal, Splinter's like journal, and the journal is basically like a book of their training and wisdom from Splinter. The book comes into play later, but he's clearly planning on killing himself. He's like, okay, I failed, didn't work out, and I'm gonna die anyway, so I'm done. So he like,
he's even got liver spots.
yeah, it's true. I don't know. I mean, it's just like because he's older.
Yeah.
He's got the spots.
He's got speckles, I guess.
Yeah. But he drapes the masks of all of the fallen turtles and himself over the blades, takes out his father's book, takes out the broken blade of Leonardo and sets up seppuku for himself, and then he just passes out from blood loss. Meanwhile, Jones...
kind of sad.
I know.
Jones
discovers
I couldn't even
him.
do that.
I couldn't even kill myself. I'm the worst turtle ever. Jones discovers him, and she's like, holy crap, it's a freaking giant mutant turtle. Then we cut to his heartbeat, and he awakens, and he's in bed, and he's a teenager again, and his brothers are around him, and they're like, hey, wake up, man, come on. And he's like, wait, this isn't right. Like, this isn't where I was. Like, you guys are... And then he hears a voice that says, come on, wake up. And when he wakes up, he's old again, and he's in a hospital bed that is set up in the sewers, and an old April O'Neil is nursing him back to health. And she says, I'm so relieved you're awake, but who have you been talking to, Michelangelo?
That is literally not who I thought it was going to be.
No.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Raph.
I think
too,
everyone
exactly.
thought
I was
it
like,
was
it's
going to be
Raphael.
Raph.
It has to be.
Right? Everybody was
Because
like,
at one point he's like using the side to like talk and indicate with it. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's gotta be
it's got
Raph.
Raph. No, it's Mikey.
Wow.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's so sad. No, I think it's great because it's like you would never expect it because it's like, first of all, it's
That's
never
not a reason to do it.
no, it's never going to be Donatello because Donatello never gets justice, and it's not going to be Leonardo because that's boring, and it's obviously going to be Raph because it's everyone's favorite turtle, and because Raph is the one who would want revenge.
Whoa. Raph is not everyone's favorite turtle. Ben and I
Please,
always
everybody
Ben and
always
I
says
always
that.
find out about that in the comments about how wrong we are.
Right.
Apparently.
Most people
But
love
like,
Raph.
if you're gonna do like a Dark Knight Returns,
yeah.
It makes sense if it's Raph.
it's
Right.
got to be Raph.
But what if it's Mikey? Mikey never gets his due. And what about a Mikey who loses his way?
Yeah, but like you said, neither does Donatello.
Yeah, but nobody cares about Donatello. Except for like people like me, who are like, come on, justice for the nerds. And they're like, how about we make him nearsighted? Or how about we give him a diasma? Like, how about we just push Donatello further and further away from being like his brothers? How about we give him like cybernetic enhancements and crap? Like, how about just leave Donatello alone?
How about he doesn't know how to talk to people?
Yeah, how about we make him a
Whoa.
fucking nerd? We're not going to tell the last Ninja Turtle story without also showing you what happens to all of them.
Oh, shit.
And now that you know that Raph doesn't make it, we can show you what happens to Raph.
I don't want.
Splinter and Shredder's clans have been at war forever. And so it's the same in this, that like there's always been a war between the two different like ninja clans, and
Is it the Hamato clan?
yeah, it's the Hamato clan and the Oroku clan.
Okay.
Clan. In this, it comes to a head, right? And back home, there is a big fight where where Shredder's old clan, now led by Karai, is playing for keeps, and they ambush the turtles. Casey Jones and April O'Neil in the past set up their like apartment, which is above the antique store.
Oh.
Good recollection.
They're going to have the turtles over, the whole family over, because they're going to announce they're going to get married.
Aw.
And the turtles burst in, and Splinter's been seriously injured. And so they just wipe the table off with of everything and throw Splinter's body onto it, and they nurse him back to health. Meanwhile, Raphael is seething.
Oh, they do nurse him back to health, though.
They do. Splinter does not die in the sequence.
Okay.
But April's remembering the sequence.
Is she missing limbs?
Yes.
Okay.
She's missing an arm and a leg.
Yeah, I see it on the
Whoa.
left-hand side, but I wasn't 100%.
Yeah. Grizzled old April O'Neil, who in this universe, by the way, was also a scientist, because that's like most of her origins. Actually, the reporter thing is like a newer, an animated series invention. But anyway, so she would be good at that.
Wait, wouldn't it be the movie? Didn't the movie come first?
No, the cartoon came first.
Oh, did it? It came before the first movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
So Leonardo stayed behind to make sure that they weren't followed. Raphael is seething. He wants to go back. He's like, hey, let's go, Casey, get your shit. Let's go check out. Let's go give Leo backup. Leo is here now. He just arrived, and he's like, hey, we don't need to do that. No, I gave him the slip. We're fine. Where's Raph? Raph's gone.
Right.
Immediately just took the fight, because as far as they're concerned, Splinter is mortally wounded, and he's not coming back.
Right.
So Raph goes it alone, and he basically just takes the fight directly to the Foot Clan. We see that Karai is rallying her foot soldiers at their base, and she's just talking about how we're playing for keeps. It's over. Like the truces, truces and ceasefires. Fuck them. Like we're taking it down. We're taking them down. Like we're ending this long-standing blood feud between our two clans. And then Raph jumps in and just leaps headlong into the ocean of foot soldiers.
I'm sorry, you said Karai is here? Because all I see is Elektra.
Yeah, well,
These are people.
these are human people, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, he's blinded by the concept that
Splinter will die.
Splinter will die.
Okay.
Like April says, it's, he's been hurt in a major artery. Like,
I'm like,
I don't know if we can help
even
him.
this is nuts.
It is nuts.
That bottom left panel is pretty dope.
It is pretty dope.
pretty
look at all the arrows in his shell.
That's what I'm saying.
And his muscles. So yeah, he takes the fight to Karai. The two of them battle, and it's not going well for either of them. She's got a sword jammed in his armpit. Two of them fall off the pier and into the river, and they still keep fighting.
Oh. It's like Gandalf and the Balrog.
That's right. And the two of them are just like grappling with each other underwater, and he jams a sai into her back, and she jams a knife into his throat. Like the two of them let go because they've both been mortally wounded.
Right.
And Karai is recovered by ninjas.
And she doesn't have a huge, heavy shell on her that's going to make her sink to the bottom?
No. And Raph sinks to the bottom, and his sai is left like just kind of in the middle of the water.
So he could be alive.
He is not.
But he could be.
Yeah.
But he's not.
But he could be.
No.
No body, no death.
Right, but he is dead. I kind of jumped around because like it's peppered throughout the issue, like
Sure.
how Raph falls.
Yeah.
But April wakes up. She puts her accoutrement back on.
Her limbs on.
Her limbs back on. And there's a cute moment where she like turns to Casey Jones's mask, and she's like, "Hey Casey, a little help here."
Oh, is he dead?
Yeah, Casey ain't here no more. Mikey wakes up, and he makes himself some tea, because where he is the old Turtles' lair. Like April and company have moved into the old Turtles' lair, and that's where they like hide from the regime of Hiroto up above.
These are like the ancient sewers.
Yeah, well, they're just the sewers the Turtles used to travel in.
Yeah, but you said there were sewers on top of
That's
sewers.
true.
so
Yeah,
these
no,
like
they are the
old
ancient sewers of this new world.
These sewers have never smelled better.
That's fair, because no one's using them. So Michelangelo has his interaction with his fellow brothers, who are just like, it was a stupid plan to begin with. You shouldn't have done that. It's all of Michelangelo's insecurities.
That was a Raphael plan.
Yeah, that's probably why he led with the size.
Raphael's like, shut up.
Yeah, he doesn't really say that, but he's just, they're just, they are representatives of his brothers, but they're not necessarily like the memories of his brothers. They're all like isolating his failures and his insecurities. So it's not healthy for him to be talking to his brothers
I
anymore.
love him trying to make tea during all of this.
Yeah.
Okay, but hang on. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, it's very
And he
delicate.
pours a cup for everyone.
Yep.
And then he has to drink all those cups.
Yeah.
He's like, then I gotta pee.
Right? Oh, jeez. So he has his tea, and he joins April, and April explains like the history and what happened since he's been gone. He's like, I didn't realize you were missing, limbs. And she's like, oh yeah, no, I lost that during the big fight. like back in the day, like when we lost.
You remember the big fight?
Yeah. Well, again, they got separated during that big fight, so that's what happened. She makes breakfast for him, and
Breakfast pizza?
No, there's no pizza in this. And
What?
I think that is the biggest hallmark for how this is a dark future, because there's no pizza.
Like, there's no pizza in New York? Like, the future doesn't have
What, did
pizza?
Hiroto, like, ban pizza?
Maybe they don't reference it.
He's like, that's an illegal food.
That's how you know that guy is a dictator.
That's why it guarantees it won't come back.
That's right.
Yeah. There's only one thing that could bring a turtle back.
It's pizza.
New York pizza.
So I gotta make sure that's the first order.
First thing to go, pizza.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, you want to have a riot on your hands.
Yeah.
You do that in New
Ban
York.
pizza.
I mean, the island is now an island.
Right.
They're cut off.
Yeah. April references the fact that like she got some real eggs from the black market.
It's just speakeasies, but it's just pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza easies.
Pizzas. So April's like, hang on a second. Actually, if I'm gonna make breakfast, I should call Casey. Casey, come on down here. He's like, what? Casey's alive too? And she goes, not exactly. And we meet her daughter, Casey Marie Jones.
Okay, so he stole Casey's bike.
Yes.
And it's April and Casey's daughter.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So
Did
she's like,
did the daughter know that the Ninja Turtles existed ever?
yes. Yeah, April told her stories and showed her pictures and stuff like that from their history.
So why did she have that reaction in the first book?
Because she's never seen one before. She was like, holy shit, he's real. Like, I thought they all died.
Okay, not like, oh, I thought my mom was just a big liar.
No. It's legitimately just like, oh, wow, like, there's one in the flesh.
Right.
So April's fine with Casey being part of a gang.
It's not a gang. It's the Resistance. So Hiroto trains, he's fighting a bunch of ninjas and shows what a badass he is.
Oh, in the daytime, he doesn't look like the Crow so much.
No, and every issue he looks different from the last issue that he looked like.
What?
Because, like, we just forget because of how much time has passed between issues.
Well, it looks very different when he pulls his hair up.
It's true, yeah. But don't forget about those crows.
Oh no, they're still there, eating that dude.
Yep.
Oh.
He's like, don't fail me or you'll be like that guy. So April and Casey explained to Michelangelo, like, this is the future. This is our plan. We work for we run the Resistance. We're here to take down Hiroto. You know, you had a good plan, but you know, it was half-cocked. You're all by yourself. Now that we got you on our side, maybe we can make a difference, blah, 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 blah.
But, like, now you've made things worse, I'm sure, because it's not like this guy's going to let this go.
No, he's not.
So, like, any plan that the Resistance had, it's going to take...
even advanced.
Yeah, it's going to take more to make that happen now.
That's true.
Well, what were they doing exactly as the Resistance?
Resisting.
Right? Like, well, and that's the thing, it doesn't matter. Like, what they were doing, they were resisting, they were fighting the power, you know, giving them a hard time, razzling them.
Booing once in a while.
Yeah,
Ooh,
probably.
who said that?
And then they, like ninjas.
Yeah, they leave an R.
Yeah. Ninjas vanish. See that's, what was it? Synthoid?
Oh, a Sinja.
Sinja? You see that Sinja? He looked real burnt when I said boo.
Yeah, probably because he used to be like a mail carrier back in the old days. But Casey takes Mikey into the like training dojo because like they're in their old lair.
Oh.
And he's just like, wow, like you kept it. That's awesome. It brings back memories and everything. She's like, yeah, I picked up a few things. Like I trained myself and I'm trying to learn how to be like you guys and fight and everything because
He's
obviously.
like, number 1, become a turtle.
Yeah, you got to be a
Number
turtle.
2, mutagen.
Yeah.
Number 3, number of fingers.
3. But she explains that she learned a lot of things from like all the books and all the crap that they left behind. And you know, I learned about like your ways. I learned about Bushido and seppuku. I know what you were doing in the, you know, in the sewers. And he's like, oh, did you tell April? And she's like, no. And he's like, good. Don't tell April.
Don't tell her.
She doesn't need to know like how bad things are for me.
Where do we ever find out where he's been, or it's just?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in Chicago, the only other place for pizza.
He was not in Chicago.
He's just mad about it though. He's like, what the hell is this casserole?
Yeah. But she does ask, like, where have you been all this time? So
Yeah.
they do establish it, and he tells her that he went far into the mountains. And what he doesn't explain now is that they're the mountains of Japan. And he went into the mountains where it was, like, winter and cold and snowing because his cold-blooded nature as a turtle would have forced him to die. His plan was just to end it, just to die in the mountains. And his mutated blood wouldn't let him die. So when the seasons changed and the snow receded, he was like,
And he was like, oh, I'm alive.
I'm still not dead. Okay, well, I guess I'll like figure it
I guess
out.
I'll just find a rock to sun myself on.
Or I'll
Exactly.
just throw myself in a volcano. Will I die then? No.
Right?
damn it.
Damn it. So he goes, he tries to find inner peace and he tries to just like calm his soul, but then people discover him and they're like, there's a demon in our garden. Get the swords, kill him.
Kappa.
Yeah. So he had to run away and he's been tortured and bullied by random people.
And this shows the major difference between people in New York and people in Japan.
Yeah.
They say monster. Another guy goes, it looked like a giant turtle in a trench coat. Where are you going again?
LaGuardia. So
And this is the Eastman art?
yeah.
Nice.
Right. It's very gritty and like I love it. It looks like it was made on black paper. And then like
It's probably made
Erased
digitally.
away.
it had to be digital. Well, yeah, I don't know. Because Eastman is very much like a pen and pencil artist.
Okay.
But anyway, so he learned, like he decides, okay, I guess I'll read Father's book and like learn more and get in touch with like who I really am and what I'm all about and what I need to do. And finally,
Day to 37. These turtles won't stop eating. I don't get it.
they are ruining me. But he decides like, okay, well, I can never know peace, so I might as well face my destiny. So he boards a ship, goes back to America, and then decides to do the assault on Hiroto, and that's where he's been. Casey points out the journal that he was talking about. Michelangelo wrote at the end of the journal, like basically the life lesson at the end is no peace. N-O.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super deep, Mikey.
Yeah.
You regret that one now?
Right? But he's just like, all right. She goes, what does that mean? He goes, it means I've still got work to do. Leave me alone.
Go away.
Well, she goes, well, my crew and I, we're going to have to like kick out. He goes, whoa, you're a child. And your crew is useless.
You were a child.
Right, but like I was trained from birth to be a ninja. You learned secondhand from books and crap without any real resistance. She's like, I grew up in this crap hole of a city.
Yeah, that you didn't help at all with.
That's right.
You bailed, man.
Right, yeah.
You left.
Well, and that's the interaction. That's the relationship, which is kind
Yeah,
of fun.
she picked up the pieces.
That's right. So she's like, and she makes your point where she's like, you stirred things up. Like you caused this to get more accelerated. Like now you're in it. We're gonna have to work together. And he's like, okay.
You spat in the faces of those.
Yeah. April's like, okay, well, shit's going down. I better get this like ace in the hole. She goes into a safe and she pulls out this robot head of a Fugitoid. Fugitoids are essential to the Ninja Turtles mythos, and we never talk about it because you don't really see them in like the first several seasons of the animated series. They're not really essential in the beginning of the comic books. They're not existent in any of the movies. So what the fuck's a Fugitoid?
Exactly. I'm
a
lost.
fugitive android.
Yes.
I've nailed it,
Yeah.
everybody.
We show Hiroto ascending to power. It's a flashback to him like after Karai falling.
Yeah.
After her mortal wounds from Raphael, they put her under glass and they make Hiroto in charge of the Foot Clan.
Oh, and
he's
one day someone will kiss her and wake her up.
right, probably him. And yeah, but Hiroto's like, okay, the war's over. I'm calling peace. We're done. Like, call the Hamato clan. We're done. Then we cut to now, and we see yet another incarnation of Hiroto.
This man's ever changing.
Just constantly rebranding.
Maybe he just likes fashion.
I mean, he's
Every day it's something new.
He has
Yeah.
a lot of clothes, and he's like,
a lot of looks.
a lot of looks. I just
He
don't-
lives in New York, man.
Right, yeah. He's probably the most fashion-forward villain we've ever seen on this couch. Hiroto's like, okay, you know what? Hang on. Let me put on my best ridiculous robe and my eye makeup. You'll never see another issue of this book ever again. And I'm going to address my subjects. And so he holographically projects himself across everybody, like in New York City. And it's basically like, there's a Ninja Turtle out there. Anybody caught harboring him is going to be like arrested or killed. If you tell me where he is, you'll be rewarded. Blah blah blah. It's this classic supervillain martial law kind of situation.
Well, they just push people and be like, come on, tell us what you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right here. So the biker gang's like, oh crap, we gotta tell Jones. So things are getting worse before they get better. So
So he's darkest before the dawn.
that's
and,
right. All these
Oh,
platitudes
they even
and
have a
cliches.
fire hose. Okay, to people in New York, that's a free shower.
That's true.
they're like, yay!
Why don't you use some of that on the sidewalks and make it smell less like pee? Zing!
Gotcha, New York!
Use that hose for that burn!
What is happening?
I don't know, but I like it.
Michelangelo's just like, okay, well, Casey's we're drafting her into the war. She's a Ninja Turtle now. Like, he doesn't say that, but he's like, Casey's gonna have to do this, that, and the other thing. And the other turtles in Michelangelo's head are like, dude, she's a child. And he's like, so were we. We were teenagers. Come on. Like, no.
Yeah.
She's trained.
Yeah,
she's
we
good
were
enough.
teenagers with mutant blood.
Right.
He's like, okay, what's your weapon? You can't use these.
Right. You can't. No.
She's like, I have a gun. It's really effective.
It'd be fun. Well.
I practice gun kata.
Oh my god.
Oh, thanks, Equilibrium.
Yeah, dope. Anyway, so he tells her like, "Hey, just watch your back up there while you're reconnoitering." So she does, and she tells Mikey to go join April in her lab. He sees that April's dicking around with the Fugitoid, aka Professor Honeycutt. Okay, so Professor Honeycutt is an alien neutrino. He established the Fugitoid as a robot protector. Actually, it was originally he was working for the alien species that Krang descends from, and he unwittingly was assisting in their dominance over different alien cultures until eventually he turned on them and teamed up with the turtles and downloaded his consciousness into the Fugitoid droid named Sal, of all things.
Hey.
And that's where Sal gets into the turtles mythos. And so he's just been a friend and helper, and he's also been basically like the arch nemesis of Baxter Stockman, who is a dick and is, technically inclined, and he's a scientist, and he wants the Fugitoid for himself, and he wants to like hack it and use it because he's
Yeah, he wants to ape off of like Honeycutt's
technology
prowess.
and prowess. Yeah, exactly. So Stockman in the original war, he wanted Honeycutt and thought that Honeycutt was destroyed, but April recovered Honeycutt's head and put him in the Honeycutt hideout.
She doesn't like, hollow it out and eat cereal out of it.
No, she keeps it in a save and leaves him off because Stockman was able to trace Honeycutt's signature when he was on. So she figures if I ever turn him back on, Stockman will know that he's back on and just come right for me. So we have one shot at using Honeycutt. Let's save him. But since Mikey's here and things are getting worse, it's probably going to be now.
And she's like, why couldn't you have been Donatello?
Probably. So then we cut to the past, and the idea is that since Hiroto in the past had, when he ascended to leader of the Foot Clan, issued a ceasefire and wanted to negotiate peace terms with Splinter.
Yeah.
They had to send an emissary to Japan to broker peace talks. And so Splinter and Donatello get into a special alien spaceship that the Fugitoid helps them develop.
Does the clan in Japan recognize Splinter?
Yeah.
They
know him.
They're like, okay, you're definitely Yoshi's rat.
Yes. Not
So
only
you're part of the clan.
yes, well, you and depending on which interpretation you're going with, like IDW, you're like his reanimated self. Like you're a what the hell's that word?
Reincarnation?
Yeah, you're a reincarnation of the descendant of Hamato Yoshi.
It's a terrible loss, but I will happily accept peace so I don't lose any more.
Exactly.
Right, but I'm sure in this instance you needed Raph.
Oh yeah. So instead, Donatello and Splinter use Honeycutt's spaceship to go to Japan and team up with the rest of his clan, that is to say Splinter's clan, and broker peace talks with Hiroto. Mm-hmm. When they launch that spaceship, Stockman traces it and immediately launches his attack on the turtles. So Donatello and Splinter are in Japan, and April, Casey, Leo, and Mikey are left to deal with Stockman.
Are they on Bleecker Street?
They are. They're on the corner of Bleecker and Sullivan, and that's important because at that corner is where everything's going to go down, and then it keeps going back to it. Not unlike Crime Alley and Dark Knight Returns.
Okay.
But yeah. So
I assume that's a reference.
I assume.
Like where they first got the use or something?
I don't know. Yeah, it could be where the use fell. Stockman sends ninjas because he's working with Hiroto in the first place, or at the very least with the Foot Clan, and so they're attacked. Like their base is breached, and they're under siege, and they even deploy like a dope robot foot soldier, which is very evocative of the original ones from the cartoon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's that's fun, but it's a robot, so it's able to blast through walls and shit. So it's whoa, it's really tough stuff. Meanwhile, Stockman also deploys his new Mousers, which are basically drones.
Mm-hmm. Like the ones we saw earlier?
Yeah, like the ones we saw earlier. So Leo and Casey face off against the Mousers, and it's kind of you can
That's
tell.
That's a sea of Mousers.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's actually a really awesome moment because it's just a cloud of Mousers, an army of robot foot soldiers. Casey says, "You return to buy the pizza when we get back from this." And Leo lists his favorite toppings, which Casey finds disgusting. It's ham, pineapple, and jalapeno, which I think is awesome.
A spicy Hawaiian.
Right? I'd never thought of that. Because I do, and this is controversial, probably the most controversial thing we'll ever say on the show, I do like Hawaiian pizza. It's not my favorite. It's not the thing I always go to, but I would never say no. And in fact, have chosen to order it before on multiple occasions.
I too like it.
Nah, it's the ham.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the ham?
See, most people would have a problem with the pineapple.
See, I like pineapple.
I like pineapple too, but
I don't mind it, but it's the ham. I'm not a fan of just ham. I want pepperoni. I want sausage. But when you say like, here's ham, I'm like, ugh.
well, it's crisped. You know, it's like a pepperoni.
Not really.
I think it is. Well, if it's done right.
If it's done right.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. I feel it's like a sweet vegetable.
Yeah.
So like,
With ham?
no, pineapple.
Oh, yes.
So like, you know,
It's like having like peppers on it or
peppers,
olives.
onions, anything like
Yeah.
that.
It's the ham?
It's the ham.
I like the ham,
I like the ham too.
but
Now-
jalapenos. Now I'm like, oh.
Now, if you made it Taylor ham,
No.
Yeah. Fugitoid breaks free of April because April's trying to like recover because he's like, no, we need you. You're freaking alien technology and you have like an artificially intelligent brain. Like
Yeah.
you can help us. And Fugitoid breaks free and he says to Stockman, like, because the whole thing, this whole assault is just so Stockman can get Fugitoid. And Fugitoid says, you shall not pass.
nice Gandalf line.
I know. But he says, I would rather self-destruct. Like, you will never have me.
So he just kills Casey and Leo?
Well, Stockman is like, okay, well, if I can't have Fugitoid, then fuck all of you. And so he sets the Mousers to self-destruct.
Oh.
So the entire base explodes.
All over this Fugitoid.
Yes.
Shit.
And then we see the deaths of Casey and Leo represented in the blade and the
Maybe
mask.
they're okay.
They are not. I'm sensing a pattern here. And I'm just going to get ahead of it right now.
Just saying.
If anyone else dies in this book, they're not okay.
Maybe they're okay.
So we got to the present, which I guess is the future. Anyway, Casey is underground, but like in the subway system, and things are getting worse. And the Sinjas are deploying like big fucking trucks and shit, and everyone's getting corralled. She's like, I gotta get out of here. Like I gotta get back to my team. And so she hops and skips around, deals with her team, tells them to rendezvous in an hour. She eventually gets ambushed by Sinjas. She kicks their ass and ends up clandestinely at Bleecker and Sullivan Street.
Oh.
She's like, whoa, because that's the place where her father died.
Right.
So we cut to, what are Michelangelo and April doing the whole time? April is taking blood samples from Mikey because she knows that his mutation is going weird and she might want to hang on to it and like check it out for stuff.
For posterity.
She doesn't
posterity.
just like refuel Honeycutt with the
With the
mutant
mutagen?
blood like it's oil.
It's not oil. It's
and then it like brings him back to life. And
No.
He's like, oh, I'm
Oh, no.
super powered turtle bot.
She doesn't.
just turn it on. It's not.
She doesn't take it herself.
What?
The blood.
She just drinks his blood. What is she, a vampire?
She doesn't have to.
Oh jeez. She has a Bleecker Street sign.
She does. That's the original sign. I'm assuming she recovered.
That's morbid.
I know. Yeah. This book is, I mean, the Turtles, when you really get into the Turtles, like, it is all about, like, death and family and, like, commemorating or, I mean, the fact is, like, the Turtles are trained by Splinter to get revenge for their own slaughter.
Yeah, it's all
So
about
like,
family.
at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about.
She's taking the words memento mori literal. I'm
Yes.
getting memento.
That's true. So Mike is like, hey, after the explosion, what happened? Because he was at the explosion. When Mikey was at the explosion, he was launched across town. In April's case, she lost her arm and her leg and discovered she was pregnant.
How?
Well, she was evac to a hospital because she was just a regular person.
Oh, it's not like the
The
explosion awakens
impregnated
something.
her.
Oh, Casey impregnated her earlier.
No, Casey exploded and parts of his sperm shot into her body
God.
and made her pregnant.
That will happen every once in a
We
while.
are gonna have to have a talk after this episode.
About the
Ben.
birds and the bees. She goes to rehab and she like learns to use her new appendages. She also gets therapy, which is also really like they
for
really
her.
hammer that in. She's like, I learned she has survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
And she learns that like nothing she could have done would have prevented what happened.
Oh, if only Mikey were there too.
I know. She says that to him. She's like, you could have literally benefited from some therapy. But eventually she
Being a
realized,
turtle makes that kind of hard.
yeah, well, if you're a hero who saves the city, I guess you'll get. You'll
Wait,
get yourself
I got a couple questions for you. Do you take my insurance? And how do you feel about talking to humanoid turtles?
right. I mean, I think that'd be awesome. I'd take that job in a
I've
heartbeat.
got no problem with turtles. I don't take your insurance.
No, because there isn't any. This is a used Metro card. She was alone. The father of her child is dead. Her friends are all gone. They lost communication with Splinter and Donatello, and she's just like, fuck it. Just moves into the lair.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
At least I feel comfortable.
Which is really sad. Mikey asked where the head came from, because like Fugitoid was like in the explosion. Some of the team members, like the resistance fighters from her time, recovered the Fugitoid's head and brought it to her.
Oh, good. So Stockman couldn't get it.
Exactly.
They're like, I know you wanted Casey's, but we couldn't find that one, so here's this.
Well, she clearly recovered the mask. But
Well, that was artistically hanging.
like Superman's cape. But yeah, so Mikey explains where he was, like when he was blown across town. He eventually figured everyone else was dead, and then went back to the lair.
He didn't even try
to do what?
to find anyone.
He did look. They were both dead, so he's like, okay, well if they're
Vaporized,
dead,
Tiffany.
yeah.
There's no bodies.
But what about April?
April was taken
In a
away.
hospital.
She was in hospital, like dealing with her like recovery. He
And the
didn't-
visiting hours were like really not on his schedule.
well, listen, like the front desk is gonna be a problem for him.
You put a trench
He's a ninja, okay?
You put a trench coat on and you're
Look,
fine.
what-
You can go to the movies.
What he decides to do is go help his brother Donatello and his father.
Right.
So he goes to the lair, he grabs some shit, he stows away on a plane, he goes to Japan, which is how he ends up in Japan.
He doesn't dredge the river for Raph's body?
No, no one does that. But yeah, he didn't know what else to do,
He's
so
under there.
that's what
He's
he does.
totally alive. He went to like I don't know, Virginia, and he's just living his life there. He's like, shh.
So Michelangelo drops some exposition on April, and then Casey, Marie, and her like resistance fighters arrive, and they're like, things are going bad. Like all hell's about to break loose, so we gotta regroup. Then we see what Hiroto's up to, and now cue the third incarnation of his costume. Now he's spawning out.
Hey, the guy likes to make an entrance.
This dude is clearly inspired by like 90s comic book imagery. Crow, Spawn,
I don't know why, but
Akira.
he to me looks like Azrael, and I don't know why I'm getting Azrael vibes at all.
Probably because of the crosses and stuff.
Maybe.
I mean, I've got Ragman vibes. I've got Spectre vibes. I've got Moon Knight vibes.
He also he's no shirt.
No.
He's just like
no shirt, no shoes, no service. This is this dude. He's just. And what's great is he's just now
He's on top of a girder.
He's on the top of a girder. He is in full Crazy Town banana pants mode, where he's just like, I'm a god. I am the god. I'm awesome. I can't be killed, and I'm amazing. And then he's like sad about his.
Sorry, what proves that to you?
Nothing.
You're just on top of a building, man.
Yeah, that's it. Just being up here.
This guy is.
It's joie de vivre. I'm just having a great time.
he rails against his mom. He's like, Mom, why did you leave me? I love you, Mother. Shredder, I'm your grandson. Oh, I'm great. Oh, I'm crazy. I'm God. And then he's like jumps off the girder. He's like, oh, I'm God. My angels will catch me. And like drones pick him up. And he's like, yes.
Sarah, please stop throwing yourself off the
This guy is
again.
his own best hype man.
Yeah. Just like, Jesus, dude. What is your fucking damage? So anyway, April and Casey explain to Mikey, like, okay, like the plan is we're going to, like, we need to take down Hiroto, clearly. But
like,
I think if you just leave him by himself, he's gonna do that all on his own.
yeah, well, he's had 16 years of his own douchebaggery to, like, to earn his spot of girder jumping. But
Eventually the crows are just gonna look at him and be like, we gotta eat this guy. Can't take any more of this.
yeah. We only got a couple more issues left of this book. And so the plan, Michelangelo hates the plan. He's like, this is a terrible plan. The plan is we got to take it down Hiroto. But Hiroto's technological advancements are all supported by the fact that Baxter Stockman is his like right-hand man, or at least was. Stockman helped Hiroto rise to power and outfitted him with singes and the technology necessary to like rule New York with an iron thumb. Also, or foot. Also, they erected like the walls around the city and like cordoned off the entire city and made it into this fortress. So we got to take down Stockman first, because if Stockman falls, then the technological advancement that Hiroto has will be gone.
Stockman's alive?
Stockman is alive and running Roosevelt Island.
Stockman was old when April was young.
dude,
Yes, he was.
Like, there's no way his brain isn't in a jar or a body or like a robot at this point. Like,
That's
come
right.
on.
And it'd be really awesome if he was in like Krang's robot body. But
If he
he's
was
not.
in Domo and the mouth just opens up and is his head in there?
Yeah, it's not. It's not that cool, unfortunately. But it does explain why he's not just like dead.
A husk.
But But Stockman is running, and so the idea is that like Hiroto and Stockman had like a falling out, and so like there's this uneasy truce where like Hiroto uses the leftover Stockman like advancements, but and he leaves Stockman alone on his private island to tinker.
On his island of Dr. Moreau.
Yes, and his island of mousers and shit. So
On his Roosevelt Island.
that's right. That's right. So that's
I
the
thought
plan.
that's where Mikey was.
No,
So-
no.
Ah, I was
So
wrong.
their plan is not to create an intricate smear campaign against Hiroto.
Just by showing actual footage of what he's up to.
Yeah.
No.
And like
Just
blaming it on
embarrassing
Stockman.
him.
Yeah.
No, I think Hiroto.
Embarrassing him into like complete just ripping himself in two.
Yeah,
Exactly.
where people just like, you suck.
Lame.
I don't suck.
Do a flip. So Mikey's against this plan. April and Casey are all on board, and then April shows Mikey like why he should be on board, and she shows this totally dope, souped-up kind of turtle van tank tumbler.
That's a turtle tank.
It's a turtle
Does
tank.
it shoot pizzas?
It does not shoot pizzas,
Does
unfortunately.
it shoot manhole cover?
It does not. It shoots bombs and stuff.
It shoots bullets.
I'm so disappointed. Like it's cool, but like it's not the punctuation at the end of the sentence that April's hoping for. She's like, "We've got this cool ass truck." And it's like, "Yeah, okay, but like what?"
You should have painted the top of it like a turtle shell.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is in the shape of a turtle. Like it
It's
looks
also
like a turtle.
very Dark Knight-esque.
It is. It's supposed to look like the freaking Batmobile from Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
So
You know what they should
Except
do?
that had a bat symbol on it.
no, it didn't.
Yeah, it did. The front of it.
No, the front. Well, you kind. It's like it's hard to.
It's like his cowl.
It's interpretive, but yes,
They
it doesn't
should
look quite like the bat head.
should
It's not a bat,
No.
but it's like the cowl. It's
That's
got the
fair.
spikes.
All right, I'll grant you that.
They should exploit Hiroto's love of his mom and make Casey like look like her,
Yeah.
and then just keep showing up places, and he's like,
Yeah.
Am I going crazy?
Right.
"Mom,
And then he checks.
listen
No,
to this
she's
mama's
still in
boy.
his glass. Yeah. No, the mom thing is so frustrating. So anyway,
why is that even there then?"
because I think they were setting it up and they
To make him a creep.
Yeah. So
He's done that all on his own.
then we just cut to the battle. Like they're in the middle of the battle attacking Stockman's
did they
fortress.
forget what happened here? Were they like?
Did they take the tank?
Yeah, they took the tank is
Like-
no. Okay, so it's an island. The tank is also submersible. So April is driving the tank along the river bottom.
I'm sorry. The tank is submersible?
Oh yeah.
You just evacuate people out of New York and you leave it to its own.
Yeah,
And then
I agree.
you nuke it.
From orbit.
No, because
Exactly.
like remember,
It's the
like
only way to
the river is all polluted. Like I assume that the outside world isn't nearly as like decent as the inside of New York. Although Mike didn't even notice because he was in Japan, it was fine. So
It's
like I guess
New
not.
York.
Well, it was
it's a
Japan.
tiny place.
Yeah, no,
the rest
you're
of the world
right.
may be polluted, but like not as bad as that is.
No, you're right.
So did the writers forget that they didn't really lead into it being into the middle of the battle, or they're just like, we're gonna do a let's go back, let's go
Yes,
back.
that's what they do.
Okay.
But also, I think they're just like people have been waiting
There's no time.
months for more, so we got to cut to some kind of action.
Okay.
Yeah, it better be cool as fuck.
And it kind of, and no, it isn't, because Michelangelo's a wet blanket. He's constantly like, this plan sucks. This is horrible. I hate this. Meanwhile, Casey has gone full Ninja Turtle. She's got a cool mask.
Casey's like, if Raphael were here,
I'd be fucking awesome. Mikey's fun, but
I'm saying he'd be like, yes, let's do this.
yeah. But Mike's like, okay, we're trapped. We're pinned down. We're waiting for April to come with like her battle tank. This sucks. All right, lay down some smoke. I'm gonna go in there and take care of business. Don't get involved. And it's like very Batman Carey.
Okay,
like, you
suddenly the resistance is like a militia and they have armor
Oh, yeah.
and guns.
that too.
Before it was just people on the street with like one dude with a couple spikes.
Yeah. It looked like a biker gang, but now they're like an army, and they were all the time. So Mikey makes his way towards Stockman. We see that like this is Stockman now. He's like he's just he's falling apart, and he's
Yeah.
like in an exosuit basically.
Oh, for like 5 seconds.
he looks
I
like
thought that
Spawn.
was
That'd be awesome. But no.
Oh my god,
That's
that'd be
not-
dope.
yeah.
It's just a cool robot that Mikey has to fight and destroy, which he does. Casey helps Mikey take down the big cool spider robot, and he's like, hey, I thought I told you to stay put. And she's like, yeah, but if I did, you'd be dead. And he's like, yeah, that's true, good point. All right.
Good point, good point.
Listen to me, though, from now on. She's like, yes, sensei.
She's like, yeah, sure, I will.
And then we cut to the past and how this all happened. And we show that Casey is like a fighter, and she shows off a couple moves. Mikey makes fun of her, talks about how crappy she is at it, then says, come on, lay a hand on me. Let's see what you can do. And then he breaks her down, just shows how she knows nothing and how much of a better ninja he is than her, and just it tries to train her in a way where he's like, because she was like, hiya, and like attacks me, because wow, I never would have known you were coming without that big blood-curdling scream you threw at me. Like that's very ninja-like, is yelling before you attack me. And tries to explain through action.
And being a dick.
And being a complete dick, because like he's old and it's Dark Knight Returns inspired. She also then like hits him and he's like, oh, that was actually kind of like hardcore. So he notes that for later and like knocks her into a wall, and she's just like, hey, what the fuck? Like, why are you such a dick? And he's like, because you need better training and you're not good at this, So you're right. Like, the fact is, I'm not gonna be able to stop you from doing anything. You gotta train. I guess I'll be your sensei. Like, you listen to what I'm saying and you do what I tell you, and maybe I'll make it out of this. She's like, oh, like, you'll train me? And he's like, yeah, I guess I'll be your sensei. She goes, okay, sensei. I'm like, oh, well, she wants a father figure.
Yeah.
I mean, her mom's doing great anyway, but yeah. So she
But
gives
also,
him,
like, this is one of the original Turtles.
yeah, it's true. It's a legend. She also cut her hair. Originally, she had like longer hair. Now she has like cool short hair.
Okay.
Like Carrie in Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, but like not like in the 5th issue, it goes back to being long.
It does not. It's not. It's not
like,
that. Thank God.
Okay.
That's not nearly as egregious though.
This was deliberate.
That's right. So April shows up and he goes, "Oh, hey, April. Sorry." She's like, "No, it's fine." She needs to be knocked around once in a while.
God knows I tried.
But she goes, hey, listen, like we're like almost to the end and you haven't told me what happened to Splinter and Donatello. Could you tell me that? And he's like, oh, okay, sure. So when Mikey arrives in Japan, originally when he stowed aboard to like find out what happened to Donatello and Splinter,
yeah,
he makes his way through and he eventually he happens upon like an ancient village of samurai that were there when the peace negotiations took place with Splinter and Hiroto. Michelangelo.
Well, I mean, whenever anyone, like a tourist, comes by, they just hide.
That's right.
They're very good at that.
That's very true. So he meets with like the leader, the clan leader, and he just like they have this whole like ritualistic like back and forth where there's no speaking and he has to like drink tea and he breaks protocol. He's like, please tell me what happened to my brother and my father.
And the guy just like shakes his head and points out and like,
yeah.
We gotta do this all over again.
No, he feels bad. He's like, all right, let me tell you what happened. He goes, your father. There are people, creatures, teachers, warriors, heroes, and legends, and your father and your father, Master Splinter, was all of these.
Aw.
So then we show Splinter and Donatello arrive. They meet up with this guy, and he's like, okay, like let's go. And do you believe these peace talks are real? And Splinter's like, I have to. But Hiroto sent an emissary who's like, okay, like I thought we said no weapons. And Splinter's like, these are ceremonial. Oh, you wouldn't part an old man from his walking stick. They are stalled by the 3 like emissaries sent by Hiroto until Hiroto arrives in full battle regalia.
Yeah, okay.
And he's like, you fools, I have deceived you. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh no, I'm gonna unsheath my ceremonial sword, which isn't a ceremonial sword.
And lops the heads off of the 3 men who were talking to him.
Ah.
He's like, okay, bring it.
Where's Donatello?
By his side.
Okay.
They battle Hiroto's men. Hiroto calls for the archers. The archers launch their weapons at Donatello and Splinter, and they're like loaded with arrows. Splinter grabs his sword and just throws it at him. And it plunges into Hiroto, but it is like a superficial wound. His armor takes most of the brunt. But he is incensed and he wants to go in and like, dude, we're firing arrows right now. You can't go in there. And then they fall. Donatello and Splinter are killed by arrows.
That sucks.
Yep.
That's very sad.
And the old man is like, hey, sorry, Mikey, that's what we did. Yeah, we failed.
But hey, they died in a graveyard, so like,
It was just a matter of just digging
It was
a hole.
really convenient.
Yeah, we just kind of like pushed them.
So then Mikey just goes into the mountains to die.
Like he's like, where were you? Oh, well, I had to get the tea.
Right. The ceremonial tea for peace.
The peace tea.
Exactly.
He showed up afterwards. Hey, who wants peace? Oh my God.
So Mikey's like,
I don't see how this is my fault.
So then I was the last of my kind. I was a Ronin. And it's like, so it's reserved for samurai, but like since he's the last of his own kind, like his own tribe or whatever, his clan, he considers himself a Ronin, so he's the last Ronin. But anyway, so he's like, yeah, that sucks. And
and I tried to kill myself, which is exactly what my brothers and father would have wanted me to do, because I'm great.
Right.
Oh, Mikey, you're still alive. You should probably die, though.
So April explains that she's like, well, you're here in cases with family, like your family. And he's like, yeah, we seem to have like kind of a pretty close connection, don't you think? And she's like, what do you mean? And he goes, when were you going to tell me about Casey's abilities? And April's like, I kind of suspected that there was something going on, but I didn't want to tell her until it was time. And he's like, what did you do? Did you inject her with mutagen? She goes, no, I'm not a psychopath. What's wrong with you?
Wait, Casey has mutagen?
Yeah. Yeah, April and Casey both were infected by being in close proximity to the turtles and their mutagenic abilities.
Like it's radiation.
Yeah.
This is like
Or-
Spider-Man and Mary Jane.
Yes.
What?
So Casey
Okay.
and April passed on their infected mutagenic DNA onto Casey, so now Casey is like super strong and like
How?
It's because they all ate pizza together.
Yeah,
It's saliva based.
that's right.
They didn't share slices.
Sure they did.
Yeah,
they were
you don't
friends.
know.
There's no way. Like some part of the turtles imprinted onto
To her
them.
or copied, yeah, that's true. Which is exactly what happened.
Right?
That is
Damn.
legit.
But Casey has mutagenic abilities. It doesn't really come into play. She can hold her breath for really long, and she can punch holes in walls. That's the extent of it.
Okay, punching holes in walls is pretty
It's pretty cool, but like it's not like she punches a hole in Hiroto's face or does anything to the plot. Like there's kind of a plot, but like it doesn't really matter. April took mutagenic blood from Mikey so that she could like check it. And like, just in case, because like I never had access to like a pure sample before. It's because, Casey's a rare case. We don't know anything about her.
Also, I never just asked you for your blood for no reason.
Well, that's true. April arrives in her battle van. She's like, I got stuck in the mud. Sorry. And then they launch their assault on the Baxter Stockman lair. That's it. It's pretty rad and cool. It's
So-
there's details, but it doesn't really matter. Hiroto gets a call like, hey, there's some shit going on in Roosevelt Island. It's like, maybe Stockman finally blew himself up. You know what? Send a battalion to see if he blew himself up. Because, like, I want his shit if he's dead. Which is, like, the most clear-headed thing that Hiroto does in this entire book.
I even like that. Wait.
Yeah. Send some people. Also, we established that... we established it earlier in the first issue, but, like, Mikey has, like, these... what are those things called? You know what they're called? The things where you hold them and they...
Tonfa?
Yeah, tonfa.
Yeah.
But when you clack them together, they create an EMP.
Oh, cool.
That takes out some mousers and stuff.
Oh, neat.
But like, it's only a localized EMP. It doesn't really help.
Okay.
Like all the time. He's like, I can't just like take down all of Stockman's operations with these EMP launching Tonfa.
Can you just charge them up a couple times and then do it again?
Right, he should. But the turtle van does that, and so that knocks out a bunch of the defenses. They blast
So it's
their
like
way
the
in.
Nebuchadnezzar?
Yeah, it is like it's exactly like that. So they blast their way in, and the idea is that April wants to connect Honeycutt's Fugitoid head into Stockman's shit, and then wake up, and the Fugitoid will infect Stockman's systems and turn it all off.
Okay.
Turns them on, and Baxter Stockman is like, holy shit, the Fugitoid's here. Get it! I'm not done wanting to get that Fugitoid.
And Stockman's just a cyborg?
Yeah, he's a cyborg.
You're a cyborg, man. You could do it. Aren't you like super strong or something?
Yeah, he is, because so Mikey and
I was
Casey-
just motivating myself. Come on, get it! Oh, I gotta get up from this chair. Oh, joints are still kind of creaky.
Yeah.
Getting up is the hardest step.
Yeah. So Baxter beelines towards April and the Fugitoid. April punches him in the face with her like robot hand. He goes, I almost felt that, and he like knocks her across the room. And then he faces the Fugitoid, and Fugitoid goes, "You shall not pass." And he goes, "What?"
I didn't forget, man.
Yeah. Well, for him it's been no time. But Stockman takes it.
Is he basically self-destructing?
Yes.
Ah.
So he says, "You shall not pass. You'll pay." And then unmakes Stockman, and Stockman just explodes. And the Fugitoid, like, I don't know, becomes nanites or something and infects all of Stockman's shit and turns the grid off. So now everything's off.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Hiroto has no power now.
Does that mean all of his singes are turned off?
I think so, but then he has access to other robots, and a long time passed between this issue and the next issue, because it's the last issue, and I think they just forget. But the power turns off, and they're like, "Holy crap! Like, okay, we won, but like not the war. We got it because now we've just taken out Stockman and his shit. We got to still take down Hiroto.
Right. Oh, that cover is very Batman.
This is supposed to look like.
Okay.
I think Dark Knight Returns. They go back home. They beat Stockman. They immediately go back to their lair.
They don't go after Hiroto. Like,
No.
don't give him a chance. He must be like shitting himself right
Yes,
now.
but
like, what is he the god of now?
Right.
Fucking failing in the darkness.
That's right. That's it.
Maybe they want to get inside his mind.
No, they don't.
Don't give him time.
So Mikey's in Splinter's old room, and the turtles are around him, and they're like, "Hey man, what are you doing here? This is stupid. You should be fighting Hiroto."
Thank you.
And he's like, "Shut up, you guys."
Guys, just give me a second.
And he's
Look at all
like,
these band-aids I have on me.
he's like, "Listen, there's more at stake here. Like, I can't let Casey die. Like, I thought when it was just a one-man army against Hiroto, it's fine. I'll die, whatever. But like, now Casey's here and April's still alive. Like, these people need protection. I can't risk them."
You knew that before when you were assaulting Hiroto the first time.
Yeah, but now
Well,
it has
the
to be a
second
one-man
time.
assault. Now I don't want that anymore. So I gotta go home and then have a change of heart and then want to protect them. So now I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna take down Hiroto. And you guys need to shut up and leave me alone.
That's a bad plan.
And like, this sucks. This is horrible. And he's like, "Shut up. Don't talk to me ever again." And they turn off. They're gone.
Nice, Mikey.
He golems.
He goes,
Leave now and never come back.
"Yep." That's literally the line.
Really?
That's sad.
I know. I hate it.
Wow.
We
Okay.
got 2 Lord of the Rings lines in here.
We did. And it's like, then that's not a coincidence.
No, it's not.
So then Mikey writes down something in Splinter's journal and then leaves.
Does he add a...
A K and a
and a
W?
W?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I was gonna say it, and then I was like, you know what? Like, I don't want to ruin whatever. No.
I know. So, meanwhile, there's panic in the streets. Everything's going to hell. People are, the regular citizens are like, "Let's set shit on fire. Let's fuck this place up." So the
Yeah.
resistance is like, "Oh shit, we gotta like control this and like help direct things."
That's
No,
Literally-
burn it down!
It's like Dark Knight
Yeah, it is.
when the mutants have to.
Have to help like put out fires,
Yeah.
which is what happens. So,
Does he have a horse?
no.
Fuck.
There's no horse. Hiroto's like, "Man, where the hell's Stockman? Like, why can't you reach him?" He kills his like, lieutenant. Mikey's ready to take on Hiroto. He's like waiting outside of his fortress.
Just Mikey. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
I was
Meanwhile,
gonna get there again.
the power outage causes the sewers to start flooding. So now their lair is filling with water quickly. Casey runs into Splinter's room to like get Mikey. He's gone. She sees the Splinter journal there. She takes it with her. She runs into April. April's like, "Hey, like there are these like gears that need to open up the valves to empty the sewers of like we haven't had water down here like this in forever, and now the sewer's starting to flood. We need to turn these things, but like they've seized. I need help. Mikey was supposed to help me because he's strong. He's gone. He left me here. He abandoned us to go
So you
fight
have
Hiroto.
to do it because you have mutant powers.
She's pissed. So she just like is gonna leave. She's like, "Screw it. He's not gonna abandon me to take down Hiroto. I'm gonna help him take down Hiroto."
It must have been Raphael's mutagen that
And
imprinted
imprint it
onto
her.
them.
Yep, that makes sense.
So
Damn!
that's right. So Mikey sets a whole bunch of explosions off in the fortress to distract people and also take out a whole bunch of guys. Hiroto is being protected now by regular ninjas who have gotten soft because they've relied so much on Sinjas.
Yeah, they don't need to do anything.
So Mikey kills like all of them. He just leaves an entire like trail of bodies in his wake to get to Hiroto, where he is faced against a big, dope bad guy with a dope ass sword.
Is this character important? Is it no? Okay, it's
He
not
is
like,
cool looking.
It's not like it's somehow like a Casey clone or something.
No, he's just big and cool.
He's got like a mask. It's like,
Yeah, and he's
Oh, nice callback.
yeah.
right?
And he's also a Sinja of some kind, like because there's a dude in there.
Yeah.
Mikey kills him.
No, this is just the Ed 209 of the Foot Clan.
I don't know. Yeah, but then there's another one.
God damn it.
So he kills this dude with a big sword using the shard of Leo's sword and jabs it into his throat. And he's like, "Come on, Hiroto, let's go!" Then he gets assaulted by the crows. And he's like, "Oh, they're robots." And so he just sets off the MP Tonfas.
Yeah.
They die. And he's like, "Don't send crows after me." So then he sends a big, cool Bioshock Infinite bird man after him.
That is a gargoyle.
That is straight up a
That is Xanatos' exosuit.
Yep.
He fights the robot and kills it. That's it. And it's like, is it a dude? It says "ree," like it makes bird sounds. It doesn't matter. He's dead. And then Hiroto's like, "Naha! It is you. Like I'm gonna kill you." And Mikey's like, "You're like."
Why are you dressed like Tron?
Right. He's like, He's like, "The last of your bloodline is gonna die. You and your mother." And like, he's got her under glass. And he goes, "Yeah, I hate my mom. She's stupid." And he has this ridiculous like Tron meets Shredder unitard on. And then he's like, my mom's stupid and I hate her. And he smashes the pod that she's in and kills her.
Oh, what have I done? Oh, mommy, I'm sorry.
No, he doesn't do that. Why did we set her up in the first place? Like, what's the point? The point is, they're like, oh crap, we only have a few more pages, and we don't want to deal with the mom thing. So he just kills her.
Let's not have Mikey kill the mom, because that's morbid.
Yeah, that'd be messed up. But how about Hiroto kills her, because Hiroto's a different character in every issue of this book anyway, so he might as well murder her. In a fit of, like, just showing what a douche he is.
Is it possible that Hiroto is just different Singes? Like, he's just, like, he keeps breaking and then they build a new Hiroto?
Yeah, right? I don't know. Yeah, that'd be fine with me. Hiroto's a made-up character for this book anyway.
Who's his dad?
I don't know. And he's got a dope, cool mask.
I mean, it's a mask.
It's a mask. It's not really dope at all. He looks...
Oh, and then it totally changes.
Yeah.
And now he's like, oh, they're trying to be like, now he's like the Shredder.
Yeah.
But, like, you didn't really earn that.
Yeah, he's Shredder Beyond.
But you didn't really earn that.
No. Okay. But that's the way it's got to be.
That's a cool image, though.
It is.
Like, there's fire, and it's, like, it's evocative of, like, the movie with, like, the antique store on fire and them fighting within it and, like, you know, all hope is lost kind of thing.
It's true.
Because Hiroto's an antique.
Yes. So Hiroto fights Mikey. The two of them, like, you know, they battle through the,
Dude.
They fought in the temple. They fought in the streets. Like, they jump through the window. And
Mikey cannot make it out of this building unless it's through a window.
That's right. And without an explosion happening. Casey's making her way up until she runs into more, like, soldiers who are like, hey, dude, like, this whole place is gonna flood. Wait, we even heard from your mom. She's like, oh shit, my mom's gonna drown unless somebody turns those stupid gears. I guess I better go back. I guess Mikey's on his own like he wanted. What a jerk. So Mikey and Hiroto fight, and that's it. They fight. They fight like all over the place. Like they fall. They smash through things.
Rooftops.
Yeah, they smash through water towers, and Hiroto's got this like this crazy liquid metal and nanite tech suit thing, and like it gets a cut in his arm, but then it like repairs, so he can't ding it. Like he has to make sure that he's got to find some weakness in the armor.
So if it's like nanites, what if he uses EMP? Wouldn't it just short out the nanites?
Yeah, he doesn't do that. So
that would have been smart.
So he fights him. Meanwhile, Casey's like, I gotta go help my mom. So she holds her breath using her mutant powers and goes under there and like joins her mom. And
is that like supposed to be a reference to
the video game? And now you gotta hold your breath and freaking fix those bombs.
Freaking maybe
It'd be amazing if there were bombs underneath.
And you have to avoid the
jellyfish or whatever, coral. Oh yeah. So Casey finds her mom, and her mom's not gonna die. She's wearing like a suit to like breathe. She's got, like,
your mom's smart.
Yes. She's like, oh damn it, now she needs to be rescued. So
they have to share a mask.
They do, and she shares the mask, and Casey helps like turn the thing, and like, you know, they fix the turbines, and it empties the water.
Do they end up in the tunnels with them?
They are in the sewers, and Hiroto and Mikey fight from the highest peak to the lowest dungeon, where they end up in the sewers themselves. And then when Casey and April manage to flush the system, they themselves are flushed with the sewers. So like the water is triggered by them to rush them out of the sewers. But not before there's a moment where Mikey's like, I gotta break through his hide. And so ultimately he just ends up like hitting him a lot and digging through all of his stuff, like just blasting him a lot. He ends up like hitting a sticky bomb in his hand, so like the suit recedes from his hand, and then he stabs the hand with Raph's sai, and you know he's just like, I'm gonna chip away at him one at a time. Like
I'm gonna use all of my brothers because like the way you can defeat the bad guy is by fighting together.
Yeah.
And without them, I'll just have to use their weapons and not Sailor Moon Care Bear Stare him where they all come back and like he's like, I need your help.
Yeah, I was.
And then they show up and they're ghosts and
Yeah,
they're
I
like,
was fully
hey,
expecting-
Mikey,
Hey,
let
we're
me
not
help you.
actually ghosts,
Don't be
though."
an idiot.
I was genuinely
We're all still
expecting
alive.
a moment where he was going to fight Hiroto, and it was gonna be him and all four turtles like silhouetted behind him.
Yeah, and he's
in
got,
one
like-
big triumphant battle.
Yeah, and he's got like a weapon. He's bringing it down, and they all put their hands around his, just like Sailor Moon, and like
Yeah.
Splinter's there too. Why not? And
Yeah,
they, like,
because
just-
whatever.
Yeah.
That's not what happens. Instead,
Send
Hiroto's
Queen
tower
Barrel
explodes.
back to the Negaverse.
There you go.
I figured he would just crush him with his shell.
Yeah.
Just
no.
like back him into a wall.
He doesn't do any
Hit
of
him
that.
over again.
He doesn't use his shell for anything.
Stop hitting yourself.
So
He's like, you're hitting me.
Hiroto's tower
The
explodes.
joke still works. Shut up. Stop hitting yourself.
So Hiroto's tower explodes. He's distracted. Mikey knocks him down. He cuts him in the hand. He hits him like off of a ledge. He lands on the ground. His torso's exposed. He stabs him with Leo's shattered sword.
Oh, that's what should have happened. He should have landed on the ground, and then he just jumps off the building and shell slams him.
I'm great.
Squish.
No, instead, he's stabbed, and he's got like a sword through his stomach. He goes, okay, I yield. I'm sorry. I'm done. I surrender. And Mikey's like, not today. Picks up a manhole cover, like he's gonna cut his head off with it. And then Hiroto's like, nah! And then like regroups and cuts him in the stomach and gives him a mortal wound with his shredder blades. And then throws a piece of Donatello's staff at his face, which distracts him. And then the two of them end up in the sewers, and Mikey's left with one weapon left. The nunchucks. So Mikey attacks him with the nunchucks.
The chakram, you know.
Well, like, what's funny is, because nunchucks are illegal in a lot of areas.
Yes.
Mikey shouldn't be allowed to use them in popular media, according to parents groups. And so as the cartoon kept going, they had to, like, move away from the nunchucks. So eventually Mikey fights with, like, a rope with, like, a thing at the end.
Well, you see,
it
like,
totally
they
blows.
can't, your kids are going to have a hard time making a sai or swords. And I'm
Or a bow staff.
And I'm going to ignore the bow staff.
Because it's just a stick.
Because
Yeah.
that kind of pokes a hole in my argument here. But,
Those nunchucks, though, that's the real problem.
That's the problem. You can get, listen. You can survive a stab wound.
Right. But those nunchucks, meanwhile...
This country was built on knives and guns.
That's right.
Not
nunchucks.
Not nunchucks.
I will say, I knew more people, out of all the ninja weapons from the Ninja Turtles, I knew more people who own nunchucks than any other weapon.
Because they're cool.
Yeah. So they fight in the sewers, they get blasted out, and they get launched into a mud hole where the sewer exits out.
Right, like, shouldn't he be dying?
Yeah, he is.
It's so polluted.
Yeah, he is dying. But, like, not because it's so polluted. Like, we forget about that. And now it's just mud. Like in Dark Knight Returns.
Oh my God.
Damn it.
So the two of them fight in the mud, and...
Surrounded by nobody, though.
That's right. Yeah, there's nobody to make an example of.
There's no singes.
No. Hiroto activates like a thing on his chest where he's like, I'm immortal, I'm a god! And then like...
Oh God, it's the quickening!
And, like,
you gotta cut his head off!
Yeah, like he gets all like electrified and...
He's going back in time!
Right, because he creates like a big electrical bubble around the two of them, and then like he just dies. And the explosion of Hiroto's like... personally, he did it himself as like a finishing move for Michelangelo.
He seppuku'd himself?
No, he says he's a god. And he like activates this thing on his chest that like makes him into an electrical bubble, and like while he's grappling with Mikey, and then it explodes in the mud. And when like they both rise up, like Hiroto's dead and Mikey's dying, and he goes, some god, and then falls down.
Are those his ass cheeks?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
They could be the back of his thighs. Anyway, so Casey then arrives.
No, that's his butt.
So Casey arrives. She's like, I'm here, Sensei. I'm here to save you. And I brought the journal. You have so much more to teach me. And he goes, no, this is just, I did this for my family. I'm sorry. Like, I left the journal for you. I left it there for you to find.
I did it for my real family, not you. Bye.
No, he says he left the journal for her. And the last lesson, like learn it well. And you see that he wrote the K and the W. Mm-hmm. He's like, it's the most important lesson of all. No peace. And I have it here. And then he dies. And Casey...
But instead of peace, I scribbled that out and said no pizza.
Like, understand it, learn it, live it, and eat it.
The crust, the sauce, the cheese, all of these
we're in perfect harmony. So April arrives, and she's like, goodbye, my sweet friend. And Mikey dies. Casey mourns him. And then we see the flat line.
Just like in Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, but also just like we established the last time that he almost died.
Right.
And then he wakes up, and he's back in the bed, and his brothers are there, and they're like, come on, let's go. You sleepyhead, come on. And he's like, wait, no, what is this? And they all put on their stuff. They throw him his nunchucks. He puts on his mask. He's lagging behind because he's the younger one. They're all teenagers again. There's a new day dawning. And the four of them run along the rooftops. And they arrive at this, like, this sunrise. Splinter's there. Casey's there. And he's like, Father, you're here. And they're making fun of him for farting.
Jesus.
And Splinter says, well, New York does have its own unique odor. And Mikey says, yes, it does. It smells like home. And then they're all together, and that's the end. But then there's an epilogue.
So there's an afterlife for the turtles and...
Sure. And for Casey.
And Shredder, but Casey also gets to go.
Where the pizza
Splinter.
is always hot
Or, yeah,
and
sorry,
on time.
Yeah. I mean,
Casey's like, I'm Catholic. What am I doing here?
come on, let's kick some ass.
You're not Catholic anymore. You got like mutagen on you. God kicked you out.
That's right. You're not even a person. So then we see the epilogue where it's some time has passed. Casey's training. She's learning from the book. She's reading it. She goes to meet her mom. Her mom's just tinkering in the lab. And she
They're
goes, hey.
still in the sewers?
Yeah. Well, it's...
It's their home, man.
Take over the pagoda, man.
Yeah, but I don't know.
No, that thing explodes every other day, apparently.
That's right. So then, she
Plus,
says,
it's
hey,
still
Mom.
infected with robot crows.
Right, yeah. No, they blew those up. So she says, hey, Mom, what are we eating today? And she's like, I don't know, I'm not really hungry. And she goes, I wasn't talking to you. And she goes over to this area in this incubation bubble. And in the bubble are 4 baby turtles. And adjacent to it is a vial of ooze. She says, hurry up and...
blood?
No,
it's actual ooze.
No, it's the ooze from TCRI. What? Then why did you take the blood? I thought you were using the blood to make the ooze. What?
What indeed?
Maybe she got so much blood from Mikey she needed to put it in something.
She could put it in a bigger container.
Put it in a bigger container.
Well, I have this TGRI vessel.
Yeah, TCRI. TGRI is from the movie, but it's TCRI.
That's all I know.
I know. But it's they're gonna make. She goes, come on, hurry up and grow. I got so much more stuff to teach you, and it says to be continued.
No, it's not.
There's gonna be more.
It's the last Ronin
you
story.
can't be the last Ronin if there's 4 more of them.
No, but those
you
are
could just
different
keep
turtles.
making them.
No, I'll just keep whipping up turtles, and maybe they'll be reborn in these.
You know what? I'm gonna make 30 turtles.
So then what? So then like they're reborn, so they leave. So then it's just Splinter and Casey, and they're like, Casey's like, this is weird.
No, I'll get a rat too and a guy, a baby boy. It could be a vision that Mikey sees before he dies. It doesn't have to be the afterlife.
No, it's the afterlife.
It
now.
is.
It needs to be.
Some other points of interest. This book is weirdly sized.
It is.
And it's impossible to get a bag and board in. You need a magazine bag, but the backing doesn't work because it's too huge. It's a mess. And it's really hard. It doesn't fit in your long boxes. But I do admire them for making this oversized edition. They were like, no, we're not going to compromise. We're going to make something different. It's going to be like, we're going to do something cool.
Just get the magazine ones. I'll cut it down.
But why should I do that when they just invented a new size for a comic book? What I do admire the fact they did that. They're like, fuck it. You know what? We're doing something new. But like, hey, do the magazine size. Like, go even bigger.
Oh. You think I'm made of money? I'm IDW.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I don't know what the hardcover will look like, but I'm excited to pick it up. And by the time this comes out, maybe you can see it in the comments down below. You can pick up a copy of the hardcover.
Whoa, hardcover?
Yeah.
You're getting 5 hardcovers, my friend.
Excuse me. Why isn't this one purple?
Because fuck Donatello, that's why. It's a new piece of turtle lore that I think people will refer to and reference and sequelize and continue. I mean, in true Ninja Turtles fashion, like, you're getting a hardcover, you're getting an action figure, I'm sure, like, if I were Nickelodeon, I'd make an animated movie out of this. Like, I would have already made it, you know?
Why? They only just got the ending.
That's true, but I would have asked the others, I've been like, how does it end? So we can whip up this thing, come on. You know?
And maybe I can rewrite a little bit and make it not so depressing.
Yeah, or a little less like, or maybe make more sense.
I guess from this you could spin off not like another last Ronin, but like a new telling of the Turtles.
Yeah, in a weird future.
The
with flying
children
cars and
of
crap.
the last Ronin.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Beyond.
Yeah, check it out, I think. But Last Ronin.
Hey, they're all here now.
Yeah, and I promise you haven't seen the last of it. I guarantee you, not only will there be a sequel, but you'll get an animated movie and more. So, stay tuned. See you next week. I'm Sal.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Tiffany.
Cowabunga.
You're saving that, weren't you?
No, I just came.